Hello and welcome back to another one of Paul's beer reviews. Hope you're all doing well today. I've got an IPA to review for you and it is from North Wales, this one. It's from Conwy Brewery, or Conwy, I think it's pronounced. And this is a bottle of their Golden Gate and it is a quad hopped American IPA and it's coming in at 5.8% ABV. There is the rather nice illustration of, I think that's meant to be the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, California. So yeah, quad hopped American IPA. I picked up this bottle in Morrison's. It was part of a beer festival that they had on in there. Well, my local one, a couple of weeks ago, I picked up a few bottles. They were doing 4 for 3. So buy 3, get a 4 free, basically, on these traditional ales that aren't normally in Morrison's. So I hadn't had anything from Conwy before. And yeah, I'm assuming these guys, is it Bragdy? Is that the name of the town? Brewed in Wales by Conwy Brewery. Conwy, I know. Are they actually called Bragdy Conwy? Bragdy Brewery in Conwy. I'm not sure. I'll have to research that. But I know it's in northern Wales. So yeah. So the quad hopped IPA packed with American hops. The initial hop hit is followed by malty biscuity flavours and a long satisfying bitter finish. It's got Columbus, Cascade, Equinox and Citra hops in it. So it sounds pretty decent. I say I paid about $1.80 for it. 500ml bottle, brown glass. Yeah, first one from these guys on the channel. Let's get it out of the bottle. See if it's any good. Plain black bottle cap. Ooh, love a bit of smoke on the opening. Lovely bit of smoke on the opening. Get her in. And like I say, it was like a traditional beer festival that Morrison's had on. They had like a whole sort of end of aisle dedicated to all these British brewers had their beers on. You know, their beers on show. Some of them were breweries that do have beers in supermarkets quite regularly. But some of them, including this one, I've never seen a Conwy beer in my local Morrison's before. So this is the first for me. So yeah, Golden Gate, there it is. That is a lovely, hazy, dark amber, almost copper looking coloured IPA with a solid 2-finger foamy white head, which is in no rush to go anywhere. That looks lovely in the glass. I'm well happy with that. Really nice. And I'll tell you what, there's some sediment floating around in that. I think this must be a bottle conditioned beer. But what I'm going to do is I'll get... you see that bit of haze that was added to it? See the sediment, bits of yeast and hops and everything that float around in that. Always gets me very excited when I get that in a beer. See, their head is in no rush to go anywhere, so I won't add any more. There's a bit more in there. But let's get me snout and see what the aroma's telling us. Despite the fact it's quad hopped, the main aroma I'm getting is a slightly toffee, sweet malt aroma. Now I'm getting a bit of citrus, but it's not the strongest aroma, I must say. But yeah, a sweet malt and a touch of citrus from the hops. But other than that, it's quite subtle. Let's get stuck in. Cheers. And again, I think the flavour really backs up the aroma. It's certainly hoppy. Oh, hold your horses, Paul. Hold your horses. There's a bitterness that's lingering. And it's not just lingering, it's growing. There is a bitterness to this beer that I didn't think was there at first. And it's just as I was about to sum up my first mouthful. A growing, dry, slightly spicy, slightly peppery bitterness in this beer. It's very light on the body, very light. It's borderline thin. Up front there is a touch of tropical fruit. Very subtle though. Touch of mango. And a little bit of passion fruit, something slightly sweeter. And then mid-palate, you're getting sweet toffee. Touch of caramel in the malt. A bit of lemon, a bit of lime. Citrusy. Sweet and then bitter. And it's married quite nicely. Blended together quite nicely by that touch of sweet toffee malt mid-palate. But at the end, there is that unmistakable bitterness, slightly piney finish, reminiscent of a West Coast, which I would put down straight away to the inclusion of Cascade hops. Loads of sediment came out of that. This is, like I say, undoubtedly a bottle conditioned beer. Does it say anything about that? All our beers are bottled at source in small batches and undergo minimum processing, so they are unfiltered, unpasteurised and naturally carbonated. We do this because we believe this produces the best tasting beer to serve, stored upright in the fridge for 1.5 hours, 1 to 2 hours before pouring in one go, leaving any sediment in the bottle. Well, we don't do that on Paul's Beer Reviews. We get it all. I want the sediment. I want all that. I'll give it a shake. There is loads. Look at the bottom of that. See all that? Those hoppy bits, all the yeasty bits. Loads of sediment in this, which all adds to the flavour as far as I'm concerned. Why anyone would throw that away, I don't know. I don't understand it. There's a lot of character to this beer. It is very much, if I was doing a blind taste test on this, I would say that it's a British brewery attempting an American IPA. It's exactly what it says on the bottle. It is an American IPA, but you can tell like the conditioning of the water that is done by an old school traditional British brewer. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you can normally tell the difference between an American IPA that's been done by an American brewery and an American IPA that's been done by a traditional British brewer, and that's what it tastes like. And that sweet toffee malt in the mid palate is unmistakably British. Unmistakably British. You wouldn't get that in an American IPA. But I like it. I like the complexity. I like the touch of tropical sweetness up front. I love the toffee malt, the traditional malt flavours, the caramel. Understated, but definitely there. And then at the back end, that bitterness, that piney bitterness that lingers. A slightly resinous feel. Unmistakably Cascade hops, and Cascade is one of my favourite hops. Anyone who likes Sierra Nevada Pale Ale will know all about the Cascade hops. And this one certainly seems to be quite rich in it. All in all, that is a decent beer. That one, Golden Gate from Conwy Brewery in North Wales. Their quad hopped American IPA, nice and complex, very drinkable. It's 5.8. So you wouldn't want to drink too many of them, otherwise you could be in all sorts of trouble. But all in all, I think that's a decent beer. I like that enough to give that a 7 out of 10. I think that's a pretty decent beer. Have a look for it. I saw it in Morrison's, who were doing a local beer festival. So see if you can find that. Worth a go. I hope you've enjoyed the review. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Until my next one, you take care.